Every single one of us, sometimes in life, we lose our way. It doesn't always have to be a person. It can also be a company. This video here will be a perfect example of that. The 2026 Audi Q3 e-Hybrid is the newest model from the company that has shaped my entire life, Audi. But this car here is a prime example that it is really time to wake up, listen to your customers, and remember your identity. The four-ringed automaker from Germany is one of the most loved car brands in the world. With legends like the R8, the TT, or the RS4 and RS6, it has drilled itself into the hearts and souls of many people. I myself have been a photo and videographer for the brand for 20 years, and I am also a collector of some of their greatest cars. Why Audi has always stood out for me was their beautiful designs, amazing interiors, the look of their lights, the Quattro drivetrain, and the attention to the smallest details. And the reason why I decided to do this very transparent video, just as I did with my over 1 hour Speak Up for Audi film, is that the car that I'm going to feature right here doesn't have any of Audi's most important assets that I just mentioned. The new Audi Q3 is the prime example of how bad things went. So, let us do this. The Audi Q3 is Audi's subcompact luxury crossover SUV, and it was revealed in 2011 with the Type 8U platform name. The second generation, called Type F3, came out in 2018, and in total Audi has sold over 2 million Q3s worldwide. So it is an important car. And now it is time for the latest, the Type FJ generation. And it should be the greatest, right? Not really, but we will come to that in a second. This 2026 Audi Q3 e-Hybrid is a plug-in hybrid combining a 1.5-liter TFSI petrol engine with an electric motor for a total output of 272 horses and 400 Nm of torque. It has an electric range only of up to 120 kilometers on a full charge. It is, hold your horses, front-wheel drive only. It's available in both SUV and Sportback form, and this right here is the SUV. Before I continue to go in on what I really want to point out in this video, I'd like to start with the things that I like about this car. Starting with the technology of the head and taillights. And bear in mind, I am only talking about the tech and not about the design of them. These Q3 lights are just on another level. When you think that it just can't get any better, Audi manages to always impress you and take it a step further. The Q3 is equipped with matrix LED headlights with micro LED technology and dynamic projectors that lead your way. These headlights basically brighten the night in a way you've never seen before. And on top of that, it leads you with simple icons displayed on the road ahead of you. When you change lanes, it even brightens up the lane that you are switching to. It really is magic, and I couldn't praise this feature enough. One thing that I also really like on the new Q3 is the choices of the wheel designs. It's nice to see the level here in this aspect, that Audi continues what they always have been so great on through the history of time. Another positive thing are the seats. They are beautifully designed, grip you well, and are very comfortable. I would also like to point out the improvement of some interior materials compared to the recently revealed A5, A6, Q5, Q6 that have gotten massive criticism for the cheap materials, too many screens, and a terribly confusing user interface. The Q3 is without a doubt better on many things, but far away from all. I will go into the detail of that in a bit. I'd like to also throw in how amazing the non-hybrid Quattro TFSI version drives and handles. That one is without a doubt the best version to get of the new Q3, if you can surpass the things that I will mention now. I would like to start the design part of this video with a few words about the predecessor, the second generation Audi Q3. simply because it's one of the most loved models and also one of the most beautiful Audis ever made, especially the Sportback version. It had everything. Beautiful typical Audi design with simple yet aggressive looks. Lovely Audish head and taillights that you could still recognize from far. And most important, it had an interior with the design and ergonomics that was so Audi and nobody ever complained on. It had a lovely virtual cockpit, beautiful steering wheel, simple and well-designed climate control buttons and a proper gear shifter that made you feel like you are driving the car. Really, I could never say anything bad about an F3 Q3 Sportback, and especially the RS Q3 Sportback, which is still one of the most admired and loved Audis ever. So what on earth happened here? I don't even know where to start. But let's start with the overall design of this car. Let me ask you, does this look like an Audi to you? Because for me, a lifetime Audi fan, and I consider myself as one of the biggest fans of the brand in the world, this design has nothing to do with Audi. It looks like any other car on the road today, especially from the Asian market, and a far cry from the beautiful SUVs that Audi have made through the years. And what you could do is put the Audi logo on so many of those cars of today and it basically looks like the Q3. It's funny but actually tragic. There are Q3s everywhere now. And I will try to not get carried away in this video of how massively disappointed I am on this design. This is not Audi. Let's just look at the split head and taillights design. Just why? Audi has designed one of the most beautiful lights in the history, and here the DRLs are super thin as on any other car today. And the main beam looks like it was added in the last second. Don't even try to tell me that they are hidden, cause they are not. And why do we have to have such thin DRLs? The identity of the car has always been in the design of the headlights. I still can't get over it when I look at this car on how this was approved. And the taillights, same story there. Why are they split? And they have a design that looks like so many other cars out there today that have been out for a while now. So basically what Audi were most unique on is not unique here anymore. Where is the Vorsprung mentality? From lead, not follow, it has become follow every brand out there today. When you cover up the front and headlights, the car doesn't look bad at all from the side profile. You can see the quattro fenders and the beautiful lines. It actually looks good and a proper successor to the previous beautiful generation. But then, those lights. Now to the Audi rings, something that has carried pride, heritage and identity through time. Here is the thing, how the logos look like on this car is describing everything so well. It looks like they fell off and the car has lost its identity. It's a shame to show what it is. And also, do we really need the tacky illumination of the logo? Is it what Audi stands for? I know I am speaking for the majority for the Audi fans and owners that it just does not look right. Let the Asian cars play with those things and let us focus on the attention of proper details and quality. Audi seems to have understood that, and in the latest Concept C you can see the return of the proper aluminum Audi logo. And hopefully the plastic fantastic era will soon end. The interior of the Q3 is where I had hope, cause it does have this new updated user interface that is supposed to be so much better than the criticized ones in the A5 and A6 and so on. You figure that they must have listened to the feedback by now, but it isn't. There are so many reasons for that. For example, the half-filled screen in front of you is just mind-boggling. You have this whole big skateboard screen and the virtual cockpit covers 50% of that and the rest is just black. There are no proper digital gauges and the one that is there now looks half-finished. How difficult can it be to give the driver a proper looking instrument cluster? The middle screen has now bigger and better looking icons, I give them that. but it is still not on the same level as the previous generations of Audis, where everything was just simple. The climate controls on the C8 platform was a third touchscreen, but it worked because your hand was on the lovely gear shifter and the controls were right there. Here, the climate controls is something that constantly removes your focus from the driving. The muscle memory needs proper buttons. No haptic feedback or speech function can ever be as safe as that. But if you still want to insist of putting that in the screens, at least give the driver an option to use buttons as well. Then we come to the part that I despise the most in the new Q3, and it's the gear shifter. I see myself as a logical person and I can't figure out why they did this, because it's just wrong. Especially when Audi drivers through history have absolutely loved the Audi gear shifters, and it was one of the most important features inside the car. Because Audis were always meant to be driven, and they had soul and heart. The people that bought these cars did it mostly because of that soul. I don't know how many times I have cursed this while driving, reaching for the gear shifter in the middle or changing gears when I want to switch on the windshield wipers. Why complicate something that has worked so well for an entire automotive history? I just don't understand, and I will never buy a car with the gear shifter on the steering wheel. And speaking of that steering wheel, I don't even want to take too much time on this. It still looks like the 80s truck wheel with the airbag designed by a 5-year-old that put the Audi logo on a sticker and called it a day. Audi, please get rid of the steering wheel because it looks absolutely terrible. Give the people some options of a proper looking steering wheel, like in your new Concept C, for example. Now let's talk about how this thing drives. I was filming this car on some very snowy and icy days in the Tatra mountains. And I can tell you that driving a front-wheel drive SUV with a hybrid drivetrain that has a great throttle response, it wasn't fun at all. I just can't understand why Audi doesn't make this e-hybrid a Quattro. Cause as I said earlier in this video, I have driven the non-hybrid Quattro version and it drove really well. And I've driven the new A5 with a hybrid drivetrain and Quattro, and it was amazing to drive as well. But here in the icy mountains, the front-wheel drive Q3 was constantly looking for grip and the ESP was choking the power. And if you turn the ESP off, all it did was spinning and spinning its front wheels, trying desperately to find any grip. Just take a look at this. The thing is that the day after I was filming this Q3, a massive snowstorm covered the whole mountains in thick snow. You could see that in my RS7 and RSQ8 videos. And I am so happy that it wasn't the case with the Q3, cause I wouldn't dare to drive it in that weather. Believe me when I say this, I have really tried to like the new Q3. I was cursing its front and rear design already when I saw the spy pics in the past 2 years. I was hoping that they would fix the looks before the actual release. And now that it's here and looking like this, my opinion hasn't changed. And I have driven many versions in the past months and probably done well over 10,000 kilometers with them. But I still come to the same conclusion. This is not Audi. And here is the tricky part. We know they have listened to the criticism, because Audi has been open about it that they will go back to quality and simplicity. They have a new designer now who cherishes their identity. We've seen it on the Concept C and we know they are serious. But the new Q3 was already designed and developed 5-6 years ago by the people that don't work at Audi anymore. So it will take time for the current leaders that are more car people before we see the result of their work on the streets. I am terrified of knowing that there are still some atrocious designs left from the previous designers. The upcoming Q7 and the even bigger Q9 will both be like bigger Q3s. That really scares me, cause I don't know how I will be able to accept that design. Same split headlights, same split taillights, same plastic logos, same interior, same madness. Just by writing this here, I had to stop and grab my face in disbelief. Here in the end of this video, I will tell you a story. I filmed this car in the Tatra Mountains and I've been shooting here on and off for the past 15 years. When I have been here, I always parked the Audis that I was shooting right in front of the hotel. Cause I was proud and I wanted to let people see the beauties right in front of the entrance. With this new Q3, for the first time ever, I parked the car on the backside of the hotel. That tells you everything. Listen, I am sure that this car will find its customers among people that don't really care about quality and uniqueness and just want to go from A to B. And they still want to represent a historic brand. But for those true Audi fans and enthusiasts that have loved Audis for decades, I am sure they will struggle. Struggle to accept that this is the reality. I was contemplating with myself if I wanted to do this video in the way that I did, but I just had to document this all. To remember of how sometimes we fall hard and we get lost. The only way to do this is to accept where we are and to fight our way back to where we want to be again. Thank you for watching.